Hello, welcome to Everybody's Business. My name is Will Boland, and we're doing a second program with the women from Hands On Global, a Helena NGO that has just arrived back from Samos, Greece, working with refugees there, doing mostly medical support, but other things. And we want to continue our conversation. And we have Karen Cooper here, a massage therapist, and here is Charlotte Hansen, who came as medical support. And the executive director and the project director for this effort is Valerie Hellerman, who leads Hands On Global here. Charlotte, could we begin with you? Just, this would be everybody's first question. Why did you want to go and do work like this?
Well, first, I'd like to feel like I'm useful in this world. I'm retired, and I feel like I'd like to have something to give now that I'm older. But I have also selfish reasons. I went to see if I could do it, kind of to prove myself and to get over some fears. I went with a lot of fears about meeting people, especially men from different cultures and different colors. And the best part for me was that I was able then to meet a huge number of people from different cultures and on a very one-to-one human level. And by the end, I was dreaming with main characters who were people of color in my dreams. And in my 70 years, I'd never had that, where I had people of color in my dreams. And I think it was because we made those connections. It was, for me, that's one of the things I could cry about, how beautiful it was that we had a chance to talk and meet, she says, heart to heart. And it did feel heart to heart because they were in such a distress that your hearts are open immediately. So it was good.
So what do you bring home? That sounds like an experience that would certainly change you. What did you come home with then, with that experience?
A more sense of a global community. I like to think of myself now as a world citizen. I also, coming home on the plane, there's all these little bumps in our lives, and I thought these bumps are nothing compared to what the refugees had. And so in this time of the year when we feel such gratitude, going to the grocery store is overwhelming. All the choices we have and so much of how rich our lives are in terms of material things. And I'm just thinking, wow, do I really need this? And when I buy Christmas presents, do they really need that? What can I do that's more meaningful with my money? So there we go.
That's a profound change. Karen Cooper, this is your third time.
Third time.
Most your third time there. What took you there the first time, and do impressions change over time? What do you return with?
I went to see the fabulous blue Aegean Sea because it is beautiful. Curiosity. The fact that, like Charlotte, I wanted purpose in my life. I wanted to do something that made a difference. And some selfish reasons, of course, for your personal growth and for the experience, because I love to travel. But from the get-go, it was overcoming fear, because I too was fearful of large amounts of cultures that were together, and seeing that and working through that. But from the first trip, it was the connection. It was the connection with people that no matter where they were from, you just could have a conversation if they spoke English. If we had an interpreter, we could speak through them. But it was the connection and the solidarity and how you feel about things, and the connection with soccer, football, and just people being people. And I just wanted to go back again. And then as my skills progressed and I could offer more and we had more tools, i.e. a massage table and lotions and creams that I could actually do my work. And
how has it changed you as a person upon return?
Well,
changed your life?
Yes. Just the possessions, what we have so much. We have so much, and just looking at the enormity in the generosity of people, how they give to this organization, but also just that we in our world have so much. and how little they have,
And how quickly can all go away.
and how quickly it can disappear. We can too be those refugees with just a bag, plastic bag, filled with our
Frightening
possessions.
thought.
So,
Valerie is executive director of Hands On. You named it that way for a reason, and certainly go over, and especially in Karen's case, it's very hands-on. Why is that important? How important is it? Because there's many ways to serve, and I know you've probably dealt with this as director. How do you feel accomplished in your mission, or do you feel that you're doing the right thing to the best of your ability?
Well, I think there are many ways to serve, and not everybody can, go over and work, particularly in these refugee camps. It takes stamina. It takes really putting yourself and your needs aside to do this work. But it is so gratifying. I have never felt more needed, or more that my simple words my heart-to-heart words are heard. And I feel, particularly in the refugee situation, showing up is really important. We meet these people face to face, and they are real people. And so not only are we witnessing, because we all do promise to tell their story, but we meet them, we make this connection, and we make a point of making the connection because refugees feel invisible. They've left their families. Some of them have lost their families. They've left their communities. They've left their countries. They're in a foreign place, and they're at the mercy of the UN, of the country like Greece, who how much help can be given to these refugees. Basic human needs are not met on a daily basis, and these people have to live with that, and they just feel they become more and more invisible to the world. And so I find that Hands On Global, working hand to hand and heart to heart, when we show up and serve right there with these people, I think that's something that's real important, and that has to be done to make these people survive, to help them survive and give them hope for one more day, because they only live on hope.
So beyond the material benefits and the medical help, it's just showing up, it's just being human with them, it's providing the love that they need in that time. So it's an invisible help.
it's also just asking them, how are you feeling today?
Yeah.
What did you eat? Are you warm? Did you go to the grocery store? What do you need? How is your family? If families are separated. I mean, we had a interpreter who said every day, all the staff, all of us, would ask him how he was. It's just being human.
Is there a personal story that one of you would like to share for the audience, to put a face on it, for some person you met over there? If not, fine. But
Well, I could tell Naveed, because
Yeah.
we're talking about
We're
Naveed,
talking about it.
who
Okay.
I just love. He was our Farsi translator. He's an Afghani, 43 years old, had a degree in economics. He translated Farsi. He also spoke what they call Turkish Arabic. So he was able to translate for us. And like Karen said, every day, we would see him. He would come to work and we'd say, oh, hey, Naveed, how'd you sleep last night? Did you have dinner? Just kind of nice conversations. And when I got home, I got this email from him saying how he missed Hands On Global and how we were so human to him that everyone asked how he was doing. And then he told this story. He said that I personally reminded him of his auntie in Afghanistan, and his auntie loved him very much. And how comfortable he felt, because he felt I was giving him the love of his auntie, like his auntie. And I thought about that. If any one of my loved ones or friends was in a dire, deplorable, hopeless situation like that, I would hope there was some auntie there to give them just that moment of love, or for that person to feel it. And I think that's what each one of us has been able to do many times with many people. It's really great that we have the skill, the medical skills, so we're doing this within the framework of actually doing some medical help. But I think the most important thing we do is the human connection.
Well, you had explained earlier that there's just constant demand for services because the refugees are pouring in there week after week, year after year. And I know that you're committed to return, and maybe you are also. What's the future of this? I mean, you talk hope a lot, graciously, and you will go back. What do you hope to do? You will give them hope, but what is the future of this? I mean, you're there on the ground. It might be an impossible question, but what do you think?
This is a global humanitarian crisis, and it needs global solutions, and I don't know what they are. We've got to pay attention to our environment because there are environmental refugees, and there's going to be more of those. We have to stop making war. We have to stop bombing different countries or supporting that. We have to stop supporting dictators who are confiscating all the resources for themselves. We have to change the way we live on this planet, and I don't know how we can do that. I think it depends on each and every one of us to do that. Like all three of us have said, we come back, we're overwhelmed at the grocery store. Do you need 25 choices of cereal? Do you need 5 choices of milk? Is milk not milk? You know, all of that. I mean, is that abundance? And does that abundance create poverty somewhere else? We have to ask those questions. And then we have to change the way we live on the planet. And like I said, it needs global solutions. And I don't have those answers. And so, yes, we are returning. We're planning a trip again in March. We'll probably go twice a year because I don't see this crisis ending.
The viewers probably can take away from this that, if I understand you correctly, one thing they can do is just think about how they live and maybe changing a little bit of their lifestyle with this knowledge. I mean, would you agree with that? We can do that. I mean, how do we empower our individual selves here?
Somebody else answer that.
We can live more simply and not use so much and what the environment is creating. We can live simply. We can use recyclable stuff. We can repossess things. We don't have to have all these possessions. You know, money helps us. Money helps, you know, that's part of it. But the crisis is huge, and it's not going away, like Valerie said. And it's been going on for a long time. We've always moved. There's always been immigrants and refugees. But the crisis is different now because we have all these other forces of climate change. We have corruption in governments, you know, like Valerie said. So, yes, you can give money. That's easy. But you have to change your lifestyle. You can find an organization that you want to give to. It doesn't have to be Hands-On Global, but something that is purposeful to make our world a better place to live, simpler, and to be inclusive, to include. You know, Europe was based on people from all over the world. It's a melting pot, and it's going to continue to be that way.
Well, speaking for, I'm sure, very, very many people, I would like to thank you for your efforts there. And Valerie, I suspect you're always looking for more good people like these women. Volunteers are welcome. Money is welcome.
Yes, volunteers are very welcome. And like Charlotte, she called and said she was interested in going. What could she do? It's like medical support. There's a lot you can do. She didn't even name all of the stuff that she did. But any kind of volunteer, showing up, helping us to be there. And of course, you know, sending donations. We spend a lot of money on refugees, and I know that it feels like a bottomless pit because it's not a sustainable situation. But until the refugee problem is solved, we need your help to help them. And so I would thank anybody who wants to donate to us and encourage it.
Excellent. You'll be going back again in
March.
And there's other things that Hands on Global is doing also, and we can talk about that at some other time.
Oh, I do want to mention, I have a team that I'm not on that team, but it's a Hands on Global team going to Matamoros, Mexico, the end of January, beginning
border?
of February. Right across the border,
Wow.
which is in itself a refugee camp.
Well, you've heard how active this group is and how much need there is, and we could only encourage you to be involved. You could go as a volunteer. You could send money. It's a wonderful effort. Thank you again, and thanks for
You're
coming
welcome.
in and talking about
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
And I'm Will Boland for Everybody's Business. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.